All right, we'll just go here. So reminders, this will also be posted on Piazza, so you don't have to write this down or anything, but the final exam for this course is Wednesday, December 13th, next week. It opens at 12:01 a.m. Central Standard Time, closes at 1 minute before midnight. It's open book, open note, open computer, of course, because you're going to have to be coding. There's no collaboration, though, period, with anybody or any AI tools or anything like that. The handout tool the handout and the starter code will be available on Canvas, and of course I'll cross-post that to Piazza. You can resubmit on that day as many times as you need or want until everything passes. Nobody will be in the SRC, nobody will be in the lab holding hours. If you have any questions, post to Piazza, but we will not be giving the same amount of help that we would on a lab or a hack. And definitely do not post code. The second exam, there were at least 3 or 4 instances of people posting codes and their code and asking questions about it. I don't want to have to lock down Piazza again. So again, no collaboration. We will be running our measure of software similarity. Okay. Today, in 2 hours' time, is the last office or help hour for an LA. And that is your last opportunity for the one hack, one lab reconsideration. So if you've already done that, great. If you don't need to do that, even better. But otherwise, hopefully you already did that. Fill out the course evaluation. Like I said, if we go at 75% threshold, then I will add like 10 points bonus or whatever to everybody. Because it's all anonymous and it will always be anonymous. We'll never know who fills it out. So we can't give points to just people who fell out. Instead, we have to establish a threshold and say 75%. Everybody gets some bonus points for that. In other words, encourage your peers to fill it out. Right before I came, I checked it, and we're only at 41%. So make sure that you're encouraging your peers to do so. Right. We briefly looked at this final from 2 years ago, where we were given a bunch of data, and in fact, here's the actual data. We were given a bunch of team data, and each team is identified by a UUID and a name. Okay. We have a bunch of game data, in which we've got games that are played by an away team and a home team, but they're identified by their UUIDs. The other 2 tokens here are the points that they scored. So, for example, the away team here, they scored 6, right? And the home team here, they scored 41. If you look up in the other file, you'll see that this was Ohio State, right? And they crushed Illinois 41-6 back in 1997. What we want to do is we want to produce a report that looks something like this, where we've read in all this data, determined for each team what their win-loss record is. We can always recompute a percentage after that. What their point differential is, how many points they scored, minus how many points were scored against them. And then I want to order them according to that. So those with the highest win percentage. But if you have the same win percentage, we then want to look at the point differential in order to break the ties. Okay. That year we gave a bit of, in fact, we did this last time. We designed a structure last time, but otherwise we were given everything else right here. Okay. We did this last time, right? Or not? Yes? No? Okay. In any case, let's go ahead and get started. My first step here is going to be to process that teams file. Because, of course, if I process the games file here first, I need to know which teams I have. So I know that I have 145 teams. I could open up this file and read in that first line and then allocate. So, for example, what I could do is file f is equal to fopen. I could put these into functions, and in fact, I could use my functions from Hack 10 and not have to worry about much of this stuff. But I'll open up the teams.csv file for reading. Right? Never checked this. Yeah, we're good. All right. Don't have to worry those anymore. And I can read the first line. So to read lines, of course, I'm going to need char star line and char buffer. I'm going to have to read in a buffer, into a buffer. So to read that first line, I'm going to use forgets. I'm going to read it into the buffer, at most 1,000 minus 1 characters for the null terminating character, and then I'm going to be reading in from the file f. Okay. That reads the first one in. Now, if I wanted to, I could, of course, go int num teams is equal to a to I of buffer. It's stored in the buffer right now, and that'll give me 145. Or I could hard code that because there was only one report that year, right there, 145. In any case, I now want to go into a loop and read every single line after that, read in the UUID and the name, okay? Before I do that, I want to store them in arrays. So let's do that. I need a team array, teams, right? Remember that we already defined that, team. It has a name, wins, loss, points scored, points against. What am I missing here, though? How is a team identified again? UUID. Let's go ahead and put that in there, UUID. Right? Now, here's another way to cheat. Right? A UUID has a very, very specific structure. It has an exact number of characters in it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just put in, oh, it's 1,000 characters. The name is 100 characters. I'm just overestimating there so that I don't have to call malloc every single time. If you wanted to do this proper, of course, you would have an initialization function that took care of all that memory stuff for you. I'm going to go ahead and do this because I want a quick answer. Okay? All right. So teams is equal to a call to malloc, team star malloc, size of team. How many of them do you want? 145, but I'm going to go ahead and put num teams in there. There. Now, while loop or for loop? I could do a while loop while line is not equal to null, right? But why a while loop? When I know exactly how many lines I should be reading, num teams. And that'll give me an index variable for int I equals 0, I is less than the number of teams, I plus plus. I will read in the next line, and that I'm just going to cut and paste this code right here. In fact, I probably don't even need that lines up there. I'll go line is equal to, and line is equal to. Okay? Now that I've got that one line looks something like this, right? What I want to do is I want to split it along this delimiter right here. I want to get the name, and I want to get the UUID alone right there. Right? Well, we didn't leave you, at least students in 2001, we didn't leave them in the dark. We gave them this nice little split function. We also gave them a free string array to clean up after themselves after they had split this. It's a utility function that splits a string into an array of strings along the provided single character delimiter. The last parameter is used to inform the calling function of how many tokens it found and thus the size of the returned array. In this case, it's going to return 2 because it's the UUID and then the team name. Okay? So let's go ahead and do that. Int num tokens. Right? And what I'll do is char star star tokens is equal to, I called it split, right? Buffer and num tokens. There. Now tokens sub 0, that's the team name. Tokens sub 1, or sorry, that's the UUID, right? UUID, and then this is the team name. So let's go ahead and take care of that. The ith team here, team sub I want to set its, what did we call it? UUID is equal to tokens sub 0 and teams sub I dot team name is equal to tokens sub 1. Right? Is that how I copy strings? No. This is a string, this is a string. So what do I need to do to actually copy a string? str cpy. Right? There. str cpy. That's it. Then you go on the next iteration, you go to the next one, next one, next one. If you want to, now that you're done with it, of course you can free it up. What is it? Free string array, and then the size of it. Equals with a comma, thank you. I've also got a missing semicolon up there. There we go. Right. Well, let's just compile along the way here. Where am I? Fall 21, or final from 21. GCC utils.c and Husker report.c. Uh-oh. Got wrong. Whoa. Okay. We did some work yesterday, apparently. Utils.c. Win percentage. Undeclared. Oh. I screwed up. Double and double. There we go. Alright, let's see if we can get that down. X point difference. We did this all yesterday, apparently, right? Or Wednesday, excuse me. So int and int. I screwed up. I've been doing way too much Python recently, where you don't declare variables like that. And I got into a bad habit. Team. Oh, sorry. And then what do I need to do? I need to include the utils.h file. There. There we go. Down to just one. Split num tokens makes an integer line 27. What's wrong? No, it's there. Oh, I need a delimiter. Thank you. What's my delimiter in this case? It's a comma. There. All right. Oh, and then free string array. I need to actually free the string array, which is tokens. Man, I am messing up big time. There we go. Now we figured it out. Okay. If you want to, as a sanity check, what we can do is we can go through and print all the teams that we have so far. For int I, in fact, steal this. I would go and write a toString function or a print teams function so that I don't have to do this over and over and over again. In fact, let's do that. All right. So down here, let's go ahead and go with void print team, right? And then team t. Right? And what I'll do is I'll use printf, right? %s. I'm going to want this over here. The name, and then the win-loss record, the percentage, and then the point difference. So the name is going to be %s. The wins, I'll go with 2d, 2%2d. Right. What I'm doing is I'm just padding them out so that they all nicely line up, and then %f for the actual win percentage, but only out to 3 decimals because that's usually how sports reports them, and it reports them, by the way, on the 0 to 1 scale, and then finally the point difference here. So %d and the line, and I want all those nicely line up there. Okay. And the line. T's name. Why did I use an arrow operator there? Because I've got a pointer to a structure. What about the wins and losses? Wins, T, loss. That's what I did, right? Yeah. Oh, and you know what? I should be putting this where? In the .c file, not here. That's all right. Save that. Come over here. Put it down here. Okay. So there's the loss. What else do we need? We need the win percentage, WP. So double WP is equal to T's wins divided by T's wins plus T's loss. Right. Does anybody see anything wrong with that line of code right there before we move on? Integer division. Good. So what should we do? Cast at least one of them. Otherwise, we were going to get 1 for anybody who had 11 wins and 0 for everybody else. So there's my win percentage, and finally my point differential, PD. Right? So let's compute that here. Int PD is equal to teams points for. Did I call it that? Points scored, and then points against. T points against. There. All right. Now we're good. So let's print out these teams. Now, obviously, I'm going to have division by 0 here, and we're going to get a bunch of nans because I haven't actually processed the games file yet. But that's okay. This is just a sanity check. Teams sub I. Why did I put an ampersand in front of it? Teams is a, where is it? Pointer. But team sub I, oops, don't mess that up. But team sub I is a what? A regular old structure. Print team requires that you give it a pointer, so ampersand. Let's go ahead and run this now. A.out to see if it actually works. There we go. So I'm at least getting all of these teams in there. Marshall, all the way at the top there's North Carolina State, and then all the way at the bottom is Miami, Florida. And where's my team's file? There it is. Right? Miami, Florida is indeed the last one. And then all the way up to the top here is North Carolina State. Okay. I've successfully read that file in. Okay. Next step is to process that games file. Okay. Once again, ignore that first line or read it in and hard code it or something like that, because you're going to want to read the next 642 lines. You are going to split it just like we did before. You'll have two UUIDs. With those, you can find one of the first team, the visiting team, and then you can find the second team, which is always the home team. And then, of course, you can get the points for each one of those. Let's write that. All right. We'll write it right here. So I need another file open. So I never closed the other file, did I? If I close, F. Right. So now let's open a different file, open, called games.csv for reading. Right. And then I'm just going to copy a lot of this stuff up here and then change it. That's a very bad practice, but help me out. Right. I'm going to read the first line, and those are not the num teams, but num games. Right. And that's not 145, it's 642. I don't need more teams now. In fact, do I need a games array at all? No, because I'm going to read those 4 pieces of data. I'm going to find this team, give them this score. Find this team, give them that score. That's it. Right? If you wanted to represent the games, fine, but you're going to write yet another structure to do so. Right? Num games, there we go. All right. So for each line, you read in the line, and then you tokenize it. You split it. So there's line, num tokens. I've split that. And so now, just remind myself here, tokens of 0 is equal to the visitor team UUID. Tokens of 2 is equal to the home team UUID. Let's go ahead and take care of the scores, the other two, right? A to I, or int home visitor score is going to be A to I of tokens of 1, and home score is going to be A to I of tokens of 3. Right? That's pretty straightforward. Those are just numbers. But what do I do with these UUIDs here? Right? This UUID. What I need to do now is I need to go to my teams array, and I need to look it up. What team has that UUID? Suggestions on how to do that. I could write a loop. For each team, is that it? Nope. Is that it? Nope. Is that it? Nope. Or how could I solve that problem so that I don't have to do that every single time? So what? Binary search. Binary search it based on the UUID, which means that before we get started here, we have to sort it by UUID. Sort the teams by UUID. Right? All right, qsort. Teams, how many of them are there? Num teams. How big is each one? Size of team. And then finally, what about my comparator? Well, remember last time we had this we did this comparator, but by win percentage, by performance. Right? Let me fix that over here. Be more descriptive in my... Oh, do I not have that here? Oh, no. Okay. So let's put that over here in my H file so that I have it. There we go. What other comparator do I want now, though? By UUID. CMP team by UUID. Right. And once again, it's not a comparator if it ain't got that signature right there. Right. All right. What's it going to look like? Well, I'm going to take those two teams, typecast them as pointers. Now, if I want to compare UUIDs, what do I do? That's just a string comparison. strcmp of X UUID and Y UUID. Now that I've got this, I can use it over here. It's sorted by UUID. So now to find the visitor team visitor, there we go. B search. What does a call to B search look like? however you sorted it, just cut and paste that, but then you have this key over here. All right. So visitor key, visitor key. I need to make that. Right. We saw a lot of folks doing this, tokens of 0. Right? Is that right? I mean, what are you searching? What is your haystack? It's an array of teams. What is this key right here? That is a string. Can you compare strings to teams? No more than you can compare apples to oranges. Right? This needs to be the exact same type here. Okay. So I need a visitor key here. The visitor key is going to be a team, right? Visitor key. And you can have this kind of initialization here where you've got a tokens of 0. That's the UUID. And then what else do I have? I really don't care about it. Null or empty string 0000. So let's come over here. Empty string for the name because I don't care about it. 0000. Good? What should go right here where my cursor is, though? Ampersand. Why? This is a regular old structure. B search requires a pointer to a structure. Okay. I do the same thing for the home team. I don't know why I switched from away to visitor, but whatever. Then this is the home team, and home team. Oh, I'll just leave it like that, home. And then this is the 2. There we go. All right. So I've got the visitor, I've got the home team now, and I've got their scores. What do I do with them now? Let's take care of the home team first. Right? Home team, how much did they score? Right there. So points 4, or was it 4, or what was it called? Points scored plus equals the home score. Right? Keep track of how many points were against, though, too. Points against plus equals how many points were scored against them? Whatever the visitor scored. Right. Now, did the home team win or not? Home wins plus plus, or home loss plus plus? Which one? If the visitor score was greater than the home score, then did they win or lose? Did the home team win or lose? Yeah, they lost. So what do we do? Home loss plus plus. Okay. Else, if the visitor score was less than the home score, then who won? Home won. So home wins plus plus. Good. That takes care of the home team. What about the visitor team? What about their points scored? Visitor. The points against, you just flip them. The visitor scored points, whatever they scored in that game. The points that were scored against them, whatever the home scored. All right. Well, if the visitor score was greater than the home score, then who won? Visitor won. Plus plus. And home visitor loss plus plus because their score was less than the home score. Okay. What about ties? It's not soccer, right? It's not football. It's football, right? There are no ties. There are actually ties. You can actually get ties if in professional football. Does anybody know the last time anybody tied in NFL? A regular season game. There are no ties in postseason. No? It's a few years ago, I think. Yeah. What about NCAA? Rain, shine, snow, lightning, they play, right? Okay, so let's see if that helped at all. Oh, darn it. Tokens. Yeah, all right, fine. how are we going to do this? Visitor key and then strcpy into visitor key dot UUID tokens sub 0. Unfortunately, we can't use this this syntax, but we can use that syntax and then manually copy it over. Tokens of 2. There. Actually, this syntax is no different than just going like this. That'll initialize everything to... actually, it'll initialize it to an empty string, I think. But let's go ahead and just keep this here. Let's run it and see what we get. Ah, segmentation fault. All right, back to the drawing board. So what's the first tool that I should use? -G flag. Because then I can do what? How do I know where it's a seg faulting at all? Val grind. A dot out. All right, don't worry about the memory leaks. There is definitely a segmentation fault. Where? Start at the top here. Still reachable, still reachable, still reachable. Those are all memory leak reports. Oh, come on. Tell me where the segmentation fault happened. Oh, where? I don't think that that's line 11 of my program. I think that's line 11 of something else. I need to look at a stack trace here. Still reachable. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Where's this? Where's the... Oh, I just had to keep going up. Sorry. Invalid read of size 4 there on 54. There we go. All right. So, home points scored. So I might not have a successful B search here. Right. Remember, what does B search return in the event of a what do I want to say? In the event of an unsuccessful search, it returns what? Null. So why am I getting null for this if I in fact did print out the UUID or give it the UUID here? Oh, I know. Copy paste, copy. This is why we don't copy pasta. So when I copy pasted the string copy here and I copied it here, what should I have done instead? Home key, home key. There we go. Although that can't be the only issue there, because no, it is. It is. Let's find out. Well, I don't want to run val grind unless I know something's going wrong. There we go. Darn it. All right. So start at the top here. Utah went 6-5, had 53-point differential. Where's Nebraska? There we go. 11-0, 329-point differential. Ooh, we're spot on there. What about, let's search for Northern Illinois. Illinois. All right. 0-11 with a 253 negative point differential. I have high confidence here that I'm reading my data correctly. Right? But is it in order? The order that Scott Frost wanted? He didn't ask for this, right? Scott Frost doesn't even know we're here. All right. So, what's the last step before I print it all? Sort it by performance. Right? That is win-loss, then point differential. And that's what we did yesterday. Or, sorry, Wednesday. I keep saying yesterday. Here's the comparator that we already wrote to do this for us. So Q sort. I want to sort the teams. I want there are num teams in it. Size of team tells you how many bytes each one takes, and I'm going to use that comparator. Clear. Run it. There we go. Rutgers is way down at the bottom there, right? Where they should be. Nebraska's way at the top here, where we should be. Right? Not anymore. Not with the way that college football has gone. We'll never be there again. Right? So, do you see who won? Who would have been ranked third that year? Youngstown State. Does that sound right? Right. What about Southern Utah? Are they a Power 5 football team? No. These were the teams that you played in the first 2 or 3 weeks for the automatic wins, and then you paid them a bunch of money so to give you those automatic wins so that they would come, right? So we don't want to just report those because we only have actually one record of them, right? Southern Utah, you're not going to be ranked with just one Division 1A is what they called it back then. Division 1A football game, even though it's a win, right? So let's make a condition here, and I think it's in the handout. Only report, let's see, wins. I think it was somewhere in here. Only report like ones that are 10. The data includes non-Division 1A teams such as Nicholls State. So report should only include teams that played 10 or more games. So my if here is going to be if the teams sub I dot wins plus teams sub I dot loss together is greater than or equal to 10, then and only then will I print it out. There we go. Why do I use the dot operator? It's just a regular old structure at that point. So clear this, compile, run. There we go. Rutgers down at the bottom, Nebraska and Michigan on top. Right. Michigan's number one right now, but they shouldn't be. All right. Cheating scandal, right? They should have been the odd man out instead of FSU. Anybody follow football? A little bit? Okay. All right. Oh, well. Basketball. We still have volleyball tomorrow. Right? Doing very, very well as usual. Let's see. Louisiana, Illinois, Northern Illinois, and Rutgers. Those are all down at the bottom, too. And you can check out the point differential, and I'm sure that you'll come up with the same. Okay. On your final, where would I put that? On your final, the formatting is going to matter, but don't worry because we give you starter code. We give you examples of input and expected output. And also remember that you've got that online diff tool. All right, online diff checker. If you find a better one, let me know. This one doesn't allow you to ignore white space. But you can check to see, am I going to output team wins 5 versus team wins 5? Right? Find the differences. Well, obviously, what's the difference there? Right? I had a capital I there. It highlights it like this. So we give you the expected output. Run your program. See if you get the expected output and what are the differences. Go back, fix your stuff. You have a 24-hour period to do it. Right? Okay. Any questions on the final? We've got 20 minutes. Wow. It only took 30 minutes. No? Okay. Yeah, sorry? 12:01 a.m. on Wednesday, December. It's Wednesday, right? Wednesday would have been 13th, right? Wednesday the 13th. Right. All right. Well, then thanks for taking the course. Remember to fill out that course evaluation. If you're moving on to CS2, great. I'll see you then. We'll cover Java and then go into object-oriented programming, do a whole database programming, SQL, database design and stuff like that, and then data structures and algorithms. Right. But otherwise, all right, have a good weekend and good luck with the rest of your finals as well.